My name is Reiko Lewis. I'm a owner and the principal designer of Ventus Design based in Honolulu, Hawaii's most trusted luxury design specialist. And we are having a great guest today, and I'm so excited because it's going to be a series of interviews, but it's my first interview with most important person, and Mr. Arik Tendler, CEO of Cambria, USA. And thank you so much for participating in this interview today, Arik.
You're very welcome. I'm happy to be here.
I would like to start with your background because I heard so much good things about you from your local rep, Lian, who is a wonderful rep you have in Honolulu. And I heard that you started working with stone at age of only 5 with your father. So can you tell us a little bit about your life with stone?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me here. As you said, I'm Arik Tendler, and I'm the Chief Sales Officer of Cambria. Yep, as you said, I'm 55 with 50 years experience in stone. My father is 82, he's still a fabricator. So always been around stone all my life. I grew up in Israel. Always went to work with the father, so we always been around stone since the days of marble, and then was switching to granite. And I was pretty much one of the first stone fabricators maybe in the world cutting quartz. I'm talking about 1987. So as you can guess, I have a lot of experience with quartz in general and different brands, companies. I have a pretty good grasp and be able to compare marble to granite to quartzite to quartz, and what's the differences and the changes from your end. I'm not a designer, but I know you. I work with other. I know the design aspect of it, but my depth of knowledge coming from fabrication and installation of quartz.
Yeah, you are always on the field, talking to designer or being in the factory and those things. I can tell you're so fascinated about Cambria stone. And like I told you before, that I love Cambria stone as its beauty and the characters of cleanability and maintenance and sustainability and so many more. But I would like to start with the character of Microban, and it's an antivirus character, as majority of the people on the whole planet just threatened by the scary experience of pandemic. So can you explain for the viewers in an easy word why the Microban works for the safety, not only at the hospitals, which designers always use Cambria for that, and also residential or homes?
One of the best aspects of quartz surfaces, and obviously Cambria particularly, is the zero porosity. We don't observe anything, which means viruses have nowhere to hide, if you will. You obviously still need to clean it, but if you compare Cambria to granite or marble, they both need sealer, they both need the porosity can hide many things. Cambria got zero porosity, and with zero porosity, it means that no bacteria, virus, nothing can basically stay on top of it and or get into it. We obviously need to clean it and sterilize it, like everything else. But this is the reason why majority of hospitals and restaurants moving to Cambria.
So the easy word is that there's no holes on the surface, so therefore there's no way that the virus can, squeeze themselves into those holes. Is that the right one?
Exactly. Zero, we call it zero porosity. Nothing can get in.
Wow, that's amazing character.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
So next question is, I mentioned about the beauty of the product, and by far you offer so many different of stone veining and the patterns in different colors. And how do you assure them in the production?
How do we assure the consistency, or how do we assure the
consistency and also the design?
I think the difference between Cambria and the rest is about the production. One of the biggest differences in production. We manufacture in the US. We're one of the biggest manufacturer in the world. I think that from day one, and I cannot even take the credit, because it's the people that started Cambria. They came with the vision of being different, being unique. We'll talk about quality in a second, but definitely the best of the best, and be super special with our designs. So as you know, we have almost 200 different designs. They're all very unique. And I think that's our secret to our formula. You ask me how, that's maybe our billion-dollar question. It's, give me I don't know if you like to cook. I don't know how to
cooking.
Okay, so I guess, it's good. So I guess if you and I are going to get the same recipe for the same cake, yours is going to be different than mine.
Okay, so I mentioned about the beauty of the product by far, and you offer so many variations of stone veining and the patterns in different colors. And can you a little bit explain to us about your production?
Yes. So the best example, I'll start by saying we have the biggest number of designs in the world, maybe. We have about 200 different designs. They're all very unique, very special. Not just another design just to say I need the black or white. The 99% of them are very unique. And the secret of success, or the secret of production, as I started to say, is if you and I are going to get the same recipe for a great chocolate cake, you have your ability to bake. By the way, I have none. So there's a good chance that your cake going to be way better than mine. That's pretty much the best example I can give you. I think Cambria become the best chef in the world when it's come to quartz surfaces. Look at our designs, and I don't think that there's any explanation needed. We have very special, going back to the cakes, we managed to tweak, if you will, the bakery equipment to something very particular, very, very unique to Cambria. And we kind of manage ourselves and become really, really good in baking. So that's our secret. This is the secret sauce, basically. We know how to produce it very differently. 200 different designs, all unique, all very, very special. And that's one of our key piece of our foundation moving forward. We never drop designs. If you can go back over 10 years, 15 years of designs, you use Cambria, we're still manufacturing it, which is a very unique message. And that's it. But the consistency, the design of it, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, you mentioned about the cooking recipe, but I understand, some of the other competitors do not, keep the design as the archive for a long time, but you keep recipe as an archive so long. So therefore, for design standard point of view, sometimes the condominium, we use the stone or something, then they have some damage on the floor or something, then we want to replace those things. But I can assure by using Cambria stone, I can go back and ask you, can you produce more for years later or something. So that's a great feature that you have, I would say.
And you said sometimes that it's always, it's not even sometimes. We see stuff every day, all day long. People just need another piece. People, clients did their kitchen 6 years ago. They just need to do the bathroom and they want to do the same design or the walls and everything. It's a big feature. Absolutely.
Yes. So next question is, your firm was kind enough to invite me to your factory. And, of course, your secret ingredient in the potions that I couldn't get to see, of course. But at the same time, I was so amazed of how clean your factory is. Compare by any other factories, that your factory was the cleanest as far as as far as I know.
And
So can you?
that's again a piece that unfortunately I cannot take any credit. I would love to, but I cannot. I've been in many, many, many plants and factories in my life. Um, the owners of Cambria, which is a family-owned, third generation for business and manufacturing, coming from the food business, from the dairy business, and I think this culture of being super, super looking at every corner and on the floor, on the walls, and everything got to be super under from a cleanness, from looking into details. And they took this know-how and they took this DNA, if you will, and took it to the stone. So that's why you see our design, and that's why you see our machinery clean. That's why you see our cart. It's a matter of DNA. This is the DNA of Cambria. Everything we don't know how to do stuff half good. We just don't. Yes, it costs more, but at the end of the day, you're getting a better product. And when you come to see the plant, you understand the difference. Because everything, at the end of the day, everything boils down to the product. What you saw, the cleanness, and everything is tidy, and there's guidelines and everything. Everything leads you to a better product. That's the DNA.
Yeah. Well, for instance, like a factory cleanness, that is reflecting to the other area, which is the from environmental designer like myself. I can tell that you are on top of every aspect of sustainability. So I understand about the water, the use of the waters and stuff like that. But can you explain to the viewer a little bit about those areas as well?
We all live in the same village. We all at the end of the day, and the pandemic just enforced it. We all live in a small village, regardless if you live in, as you can see, in Europe, East Europe, West Europe. If you live in the US, or you live in Asia, we all suffer or enjoying pretty much from the same things. Watching our world and watching our environment is a must in these days. I know it's easy to kind of tend to forget about it, and why we spend more money, why we can spend more. I mean, why spending effort? Come on, we're not going to live forever. But I think, as I said before, we now see how important it is. We're taking the environment very, very seriously at Cambria, and we're doing whatever we can from our side of the world, as much as we can, to be as protective as possible, to think about it, to keep it as one of our guidelines. We're trying to recycle whatever we can. We're trying to drive as less as we can. Thank God we don't have to use boats and vessels like everybody else to import from all over the world, and then the damage that creates. Just to be as sensible and think about stuff like this as much as we can. We're launching new recyclable colors. I mean, designs that we recycled the waste. We're taking the waste of slabs, we re-crush it and recycle it as a new designs, which I think going to be a big trend later on, because people will start to pay more and more and more attention. Unfortunately, this consciousness or awareness takes way longer than I thought to humanity to even think about it. But from your angle as an art designer, I think that's the right way to start and rethink which materials are you're going to use, specify. We definitely think about it and trying to do the best we can from our little corner of the world. Absolutely.
Well, going through the pandemic, I realized that we need to use more local, local or US-made things. And I think your product is really on top of every aspect of that, I would say. So, yeah, then, okay, one more question, I guess. Can you little bit can you explain a little bit about like how to say uniqueness of your production, which is you, how to say it, we talked about the sustainability, but you produce, you get the material locally, then the production and the fabrications and the whole process compared with the other product that they source from other area of the planet. And so you have 100% control of the product, I would say. Can you explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's combining a few things that we said before, as between you know, we're trying to be, as I said before, as considerable as we can about the environment. We are staying in North America from a production standpoint. Our quartz, our raw quartz come from here. And by the way, you speak about comparison. I prefer, you know, I'm not here to talk bad things about competitors. I can talk about Cambria. So our quartz source is in North America. We use the best of the best of the best parts of the quarry, which means the better clarity aggregates, which is small percentage of the total ingredients. So we try to use the best. We are not trying. We are using the best of the best of the best. We don't have to travel anywhere. It's a one huge, 1 million square foot manufacturing that is in Minnesota. Employees are all US based. That's what we do. We're self-sufficient. We're using our own, we're cutting our own samples, our own everything. And the idea behind it is to have control on the quality. It's everything coming from a control on quality. It's trying to employ local employees to keep our neighbors and friends and family in our city happy. Just make more sense. And have the best of the best product, so I can hand you the best, I can service you the best, and that's in a nutshell Cambria. You know, American made, family owned, amazing quality, unlimited designs. You know, 200 designs, as I said before, everything in stock. We have a presentation and inventory pretty much everywhere in the continent, and we're all here on the same thing for the same purpose, to make you happy. Seriously, it's not a cliche.
I ran a promo of this interview on my Instagram, and one of my followers in Japan already asked me where we can buy Cambria in Japan. And despite you are a US company, you offer all the products to internationally. Am I right?
Yes, we have a beautiful showroom in Tokyo, by the way. Your audience are welcome to visit. And I'll be more than happy to share the address later and information. Yes, we're American based. We definitely have, there's always people in the world are always asking, trying to get the best of the best. And that's why we are there, to service and to support and to supply Cambria. So yes, absolutely. Japan is a great market for us. It seems that Japanese people are of a great, not just great taste, but also great sense of details. And when you look at our designs, you can see the difference. Absolutely.
Well, those are the list of the questions I wanted to go through. But do you have any extra piece of information that you want to convey to my viewers?
Sure. First of all, these crazy times of the pandemic, which kind of shuffle and change everything in our life. First of all, I wish everybody to be safe and sound. And thank you for hosting me. And just as a summary, as I said before, I know the quartz world for almost 30 years, more than 30 years. And there's one piece that I love usually to share with people is, so why I'm in Cambria? I mean, I've been around quartz all my life, so why Cambria? As I mentioned it before, but it's really, I think that's the highlight of this whole thing. You know, you do your countertop, and I'll combine it and why I'm here. you as a consumer replacing your countertop between 5 to 15 years, let's say on average of 10 years. And I personally always love to have something that I prefer to pay a little bit more, get the best of the best, be happy with it until I'm using it, and call it a day. And that's what Cambria is delivering. We're delivering different, unique, special designs, by far the best quality. And it's always so much more fun to sell the Rolls Royce of the stone. So I wish that every one of your customers and audience will at least have a glance at the product, because we are very different, very unique, and it's worth it. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm proudly carry this flag. And I can't wait to hear from you and your clientele and your audience their response on and the experience they have with Cambria.
Yes.
So as I said, thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks.
Bye.